Hello, all, and welcome to episode number 2 of the TheStoryArc Podcast. My name is Scott, and I remain your host. I have the honor of being joined once again by Dre.
Hello there.
And Luke.
Hi. It's just a very slow and lazy morning thus far. And guys, today is a very special episode, actually.
Why is that?
Episode number 2.
Uh-huh.
The second one?
This is the second one.
Wow.
How do we feel about this?
I read somewhere that approximately only about 80% of podcasts make it to episode 2. So,
really?
It's we're in kind of exclusive group, 80%. That's pretty special.
So we're in the 20th percentile, basically, already.
No, we're in the 80th.
80% don't make it.
Oh, you're right.
Wait.
Wait.
I don't know how to count.
Me either.
I didn't actually know this was the second one until Luke said.
What the point is, we're doing pretty good so far.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can keep this momentum going.
Yeah.
Speaking of twos, by the way, our topic of conversation today is The Last of Us 2. And on a brighter note, working conditions in the video game industry. For those listening who don't want to be spoiled, we won't talk any spoilers until the very end. We'll give you fair warning. So you can stick around until then.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, what have you guys been up to lately? Luke, you were telling us about a very funny thing you discovered.
So, a pretty interesting fact the other day from a friend. Where have either of you seen Blazing Saddles?
I have not.
I've only seen clips of it, but I'm familiar with the tone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there exists a TV show that's hidden away. Okay, so in 1975, there was going to be a Blazing Saddles TV show called Black Bart. And the only reason this show was made, so the studio will be able to keep the rights to Blazing Saddles for a sequel. And so they filmed a pilot among multiple other episodes and potentially at least 4 seasons worth of this fake TV show.
So, why do you want to make a sequel? Okay, I haven't seen Blazing Saddles. It doesn't seem like a sequel. It doesn't seem like it works well. It's dying to be a franchise.
Maybe they're
not sure if it's a sequel or they just want to keep the rights to it. But the pilot for the show does exist on the Blazing Saddles 40th anniversary.
So they got a full. That's weird. How they because usually with a TV show it's like a pilot, and then you shop that pilot around, and then you get a season, right?
They created a whole TV show that was not meant to be because they were specifically told you have to make this, but it does not need to be aired.
Oh,
they don't need to release it to the public. As long as they make this fake TV show, they can keep the rights to it.
I have to wonder, at what point is it legally accepted as a TV show? How little effort are you allowed to put in?
Right.
It's before they're all right, buddy, that doesn't count.
That's there's a Fantastic Four movie that was made just like that. Back in the 80s. Fox just wanted to keep the rights to Fantastic Four, so they just made this super shitty low budget Fantastic Four movie that is all on YouTube right now. It might have the best theme costume we've ever seen on film, but other than that, it's nearly unwatchable.
Did they make a proper movie later? Obviously eventually, but
I would argue that we still don't have a proper Fantastic Four movie.
Oh,
but I guess they did. We got those ones in 2000, I think the early 2000s, and we got Josh Trank film.
Silver Surfer.
That was pretty good.
Have you seen Capone?
Capone?
I've not even heard of it.
The new Josh Trank movie.
No, I've not.
It came out like a couple months ago. It's not great, but I think Josh Trank really got handed like a bad deal with Fantastic Four.
He did.
And it's like, I think the guy has it in him to make like a really great movie sometime in the future. But I don't know. I think he's just trying to find his shtick, I guess.
Trust me, Chronicle still holds up, kind of.
Have you seen? What was it like? Stabbing at Leia's.
No,
It's like his short Star Wars film he made in like college.
Oh, I was gonna make a Star Wars joke, but I guess this is Star Wars.
No, yeah, it's basically the short film that got him the job for the eventually scrapped Boba Fett spin-off movie.
God,
I got scrapped.
Thank God.
I might be thanking the Lord about that one as well. Because he's still like a popular character.
I guess. I feel like I hear more people make fun of Boba Fett than like express genuine like passion and like desire to see that character story.
In terms of Star Wars side characters, he's certainly, I think, the best known, right? Maybe Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Jar Jar movie.
I
would watch it.
Nako, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, recently, I don't remember when exactly, but recently, you may recall there was a group of people, maybe it was just one person, who ported Mario 64 to PC, which is funny, definitely funny.
Yeah.
And I haven't played Mario 64 in a long time, so I thought, I'll give her a whirl and play Mario with my Xbox controller.
Awesome.
And I must say, I had this impression in my mind that Mario 64 was this like really dated old game that doesn't really hold up. But no, actually, it's I think quite incredible still to play.
Really?
Yeah. It there are like obviously it's not perfect. There are problems, but the game still controls. Like I played games this year that don't feel as good to play as Mario 64 does.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how do it like platformers. They just don't. They're not as juicy. They're not as plump as a Mario or triple jump.
This definitely needs a platformer needs a lot of juice.
Yeah, it's got to be. You got to feel it. You got to jump, and he goes wahoo, and it's like, oh my god, that's me doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I missed out on a 64 while growing up. I couldn't afford to play many games, so the best experience I got was Mario 64 on the DS, which I guess is the prime experience.
It's pretty good. There's a lot of people who say it's not as good because there's no analog stick. But I'm gonna die on the hill of the DS D-pad being better than the N64 anything. I mean that controller it's just junk. It's not good.
I also tried the PC port for like a hot second, but thing is, I never grew up playing any Mario at all. I think the first time I played a 3D Mario game, I was 16 or something, and as such, 3D Mario games just feel weird because they don't control much else.
Yeah.
I always feel like a little sense of detachment. I always feel a little uncomfortable with them.
Something's off.
Yeah, I just never can get super comfortable with it. That's just my weird thing with Mario games.
I would say Odyssey is the most Mario I played in my life.
It's pretty Mario.
I could never really get into, as Dre mentioned, the 3D Mario games.
Galaxy kind of stresses me out, man.
Because of space? Because the endless expanse of space?
It's not just the space. Okay, it's like jumping out of gravity. No.
That's awesome. I love it.
I'm on one planet and then I jump and then another planet's gravity catches me. No.
I will say, right? Mario Galaxy is definitely my fifth parent.
Your fifth?
Yeah, I was raised
by your other three.
I got two moms, I got two dads, and Mario Galaxy.
Oh, cool.
That's just how it is for me. my life, right? That's who's gonna come down the aisle at my wedding. Those 5 people.
Oh, that's a crowd. You're running a big aisle.
We won't all be shoulder to shoulder.
I guess, yeah, that's
See in the bouquet. But yeah, in any case, I Mario Galaxy is my favorite game of all time, and I think it in large part just because I played it so young and for so long.
Mm-hmm.
It's just ingrained in me now. Like everything, I pick it up, and like you're describing, a sense of detachment. I feel like it's an extension of my own body when I play that game.
How do you feel about Galaxy 2?
Galaxy 2 is great. I don't have the same a connection to that one now. I think actually on a technical level, I think Galaxy 2 might be a better game. Like I think the level design might be tighter. I think the areas might be more interesting. I think the music might be better. Actually, well, that's a toss up. But Galaxy 1 is definitely the one that I have the most personal attachment to.
Yeah.
That's always going to be my goat.
Mario's a fun guy.
He is. I would love to meet him in real life.
I'm not sure I would.
What if you had like a clog, and you're just like,
I would get a plumber. I've seen plumb something.
How would you feel if with every new Mario game he becomes like more and more realistic looking?
I mean, that's what they've been doing. In Mario Odyssey, he's got like hair. He's got hair.
Okay, but in the next Mario, he has like more of a human face, like with more human proportions.
He doesn't have brawl denim.
Brawl denim.
He doesn't have brawl denim, but he does have denim.
It's all been a step back. He needs, my Mario definitely is brawl Mario.
I love brawl Mario.
Who woke up, put on his red shirt, and then put on his brawl denim, and then went and fought Sonic. That's my
wearing his cotton gloves.
Yeah.
I have always been
and then tripped.
The brawl art style gets a lot of shit. I kind of like it.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it's epic. I want to see more games that look like that. Like I'm so here for Mario Odyssey 2, and every level looks like the World 1-1 stage from Brawl.
Yes.
It's just a desert.
Take. It's visually my favorite Smash game.
Mm-hmm.
What always stuck out to me about that is Donkey Kong's fur.
Oh god.
I remember like just looking at it like a lot and being like fascinated like by it and like the way it like is like tuft. I don't know. Curls around. It's just Donkey Kong was never meant to have. You're never supposed to like see this many strands of Donkey Kong.
I think that's part of that is every game that has the man in it sense.
Mm-hmm.
He's always got it. Like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. He's so furry. He's such a furry little man.
Yeah.
But actually, speaking of high graphical fidelity, I think we should move into talking about The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Because that's a game that looks like my backyard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I swear I've been there.
Have you been to Seattle?
Well, holy heck, I have.
You have then. You probably haven't been to this one though. Oh, so I played The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
I believe you, Luke, you also have.
I would say I loved and hated The Last of Us 2 about as much as I expected to.
I went into the game expecting to be disappointed, and then I actually came out really liking it, and to the point where it's probably my favorite new release of the year.
Favorite game, you mean? Like of 2020?
Yeah, favorite 2020 game. It's just well, you give your thoughts on it, Luke, before I go.
Right. Yeah, right. I was kind of the same way. I didn't really know what to expect. I was kind of, all right, time to go in open-minded. I will say it was a very long, slow burn. Because for like the first couple hours, I was like not into it at all. But then I can't remember at what point. Probably by the time you get to the school, or it was school or TV station, I was like finally starting to like enjoy it. And then honestly, I think I just kind of started to slowly dislike it as the game went along.
So I guess we should say the game's a bit controversial.
Yeah, so actually, I was about to ask. I have not played it, but as people who have played it, do you guys think it's worth it? Worth what it took to make?
It definitely wasn't worth the exploiting and torture of the employees to make it. But
yeah, I don't. Damn, I really need to play a game that is worth that. that must be a fucking awesome video game. Yeah. I think amidst all the controversies, some valid, a lot aren't. The one that's kind of been forgotten is like the exploitation of the developers in all of this, and kind of like the things they had to go through to make it, which is a little bit of a shame because I think that needs to be highlighted more.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's interesting because this is that has been the massive crunch and the exposure of developers to sort of rather horrifying things is not new. It's nothing new, and it comes up time, and then it just sort of once the game comes out and everybody loves it, and nobody really talk about what it came from anymore.
No, it's like I see so much praise of it online, and I'm like, do you guys know what it took to probably make this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it kind of bothered me that like it just felt largely forgotten.
Mm-hmm. And you also, I remember pre-release, there's all kinds of memes or like crunch, no crunch, and it's like people endorsing it, saying, yeah, not only am I aware this is happening, it should be happening. It's a good thing.
Right.
I think this is why it kind of plays into why I'm not like super into the game, because I play this and I'm just like I can't ignore what kind of went into it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we should give the kind of background and context to the listener.
Yes, please.
Good idea.
So basically, along with the kind of like sadly like typical like massive amounts of crunch that most AAA games require of their devs, The Last of Us 2 one has very realistic death animations. Like it tries to portray its like violence as realistic a way as possible. Massive air quotes around that.
Mm-hmm.
So the developers and animators were made to look at a hearty amount of gore, real life gore of people being harmed and mutilated. I know specifically a lot of footage of car crashes and such, like war footage, which has led to lots of developers in interviews showing off signs of PTSD. Because they're spending like more than 10 hours a day staring at real life violence, like and of quite absurd like degree.
Mm-hmm. And then being asked to recreate it, and digging around, like modeling guts and brains, and to create.
And all for an effect that I'm not sure exists. I don't.
Yes,
you were not convinced by the realism of the deaths.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem with that though. I stopped caring because the game is fun.
Yeah,
that's why I'm not like disgusted or just like horrified by what's going on by how realistic it is, because they make the game fun.
And there's a point where where I've killed the same person so many times, and they make the same silly death face that it's like, okay, I've killed Terry like 4 times.
That's another thing, because so in all the Uncharted games, also produced by Naughty Dog, you kill like hundreds of just random faceless dudes, and you just kind of shrug it off because whatever, they're just, I don't know them.
They're bad guys.
But in The Last of Us 2, each like enemy NPC is given a name.
And I'm a little mixed on that, because there's definitely points where I kill some dude and then someone goes, Hubert! And it's like, okay, that sucks. But then there are moments where it's like I killed someone and it's like a long stealth section.
Yeah.
And then and I've been like tailing someone for like 15 minutes, and then they like discover like their spouse's body, and they're like, oh God. And it doesn't rattle me to my core, but it does like make me stop and give it a second like thought, which I think is the intended like goal.
I mean, I don't know. I just kind of stopped caring because I just don't think it's that deep of a system.
No,
I don't think it really adds anything really for me. It adds like a new dynamic to encounters, sure, but I wasn't like moved by it.
Is there anything to be gained from sparing someone?
No.
Get from killing them, or is it pretty much purely, or is it even possible?
That's one of my biggest like problems with the game. It has this really odd, infrequent mechanic where it locks you into, if you like injure someone and they're like on the floor, there's like a thing where it's like it locks you to like walk towards them as they like yell for mercy, and then you could choose to kill them or not. But then like every time if you choose to spare them, they'll just pull out a gun and start attacking you. And it's like, all right, I get like what you're doing, but it's like I'm just like, after like it happens 3 times and now I don't think about it anymore. And then I hit them. I have no
pull them right off.
Yeah. If I could spare them, then I would. I'd probably, that would be like a cool way to play the game. And I get like the game's not about sparing people, and it wouldn't make sense.
Right. It's not like it has like a big overarching morality mechanic or something.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense for that. But I also like, I don't get why that mechanic is even there. That's a point where one of the most where I feel the game's like overall like condemnation of the characters in it doesn't work. I will say the game, a lot of like discussion has gone around about like the game trying to make the player feel bad. I never got that sense.
It never goes meta. It never says, look at what you've done.
Yeah, it's not Spec Ops The Line. It's a pretty like, the game definitely has something like what something is trying to say about violence, which is rather hypocritical about considering the development. But it's definitely not aimed at the player. It's aimed at the characters within the story. So every time I see people kind of like saying that the game's trying to criticize you, I never got that sense from it.
I think there are certain points I would say that like does kind of go out of its way to make the player feel like shit. Because I mean, so you can kill dogs in the game, which that sucks. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
As you're mentioning, just like enemies just kind of with like their own dynamic like names and relationships with people. It's like a subtle way to just kind of make the player feel like shit. Like, oh God, these are human beings I'm killing. Oh God. But I don't know.
Do you think
a lot of it just feels so ham-fisted to me.
Do you feel that it's that those mechanics are intended to make the player feel bad for making those decisions, or do you think it's just sort of supposed to be like give the player an impression of the fact that what the character they're playing as is doing is having real ramifications? I guess do you feel that that is intended to make the player sad or feel bad?
I think it's supposed to make the player feel sad, and I think that because of spoilers. Because of spoilers.
Okay, yeah, we gotta do it.
We'll wait a little bit. We'll wait a little bit before we get to.
Damn. Okay.
But we will hear the epic conclusion of that conversation.
Going back to the gore thing. This is not the first time a game's done that. I know the example that comes to my mind first, like outside of this, is was it the most recent Mortal Kombat? I think.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 definitely did it, which is like kind of like absurd to me because I feel because Mortal Kombat violence is like already like cartoonish.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why they had to like go out of their way to like make it like as realistic as possible.
The Mortal Kombat thing is so odd to me because it's like, what's like the thought process? Do you think we'll enjoy it more if it looks like someone actually dying? Like, do you think that's like why? I don't play Mortal Kombat because I'm like, okay, I really hate my teacher. I'm gonna pretend that I'm a hero.
Well, yeah. I'm sure there are people like that, but like this is my mom who banned me from Xbox Live. No, but with every Mortal Kombat, I feel they do have to like up the spectacle with every new game, like and make the fatalities cooler and grosser with every new game, or else their reward it just won't sell.
Like certainly up the spectacle or whatever. But people dying is not spectacular.
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, I get why they would go in that direction because that's just sort of a direction that the industry has been going for like 20 years. Yeah. But I personally would be more, I think, entertained by really like absurd. I mean, it's already absurd and over the top, but doing things that just don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like so outside the realm of possibility in terms of violence that it's like it becomes funny.
I mean, there really is a fatality where a character shoots you in the body a few times, kicks you in the balls, and your entire skeleton just flies out of your body. And yeah, we gotta make this as realistic as possible.
You know what that reminds me of? Sniper Elite. I forget which one, but one of them has this.
Sniper Elite 2 onward has the like X-ray mode.
Yeah, I will say, right, I haven't played those games, but every time I've seen footage,
they're great.
It looks pretty epic, I must say. Well, yeah. Like the detail of the bullet like going through and like the bone fragments. I don't know if that game had that level of requiring the developers to make that, but I actually do feel like that is something that enhances the experience.
It adds like some charm to it, like a little bit of extra something else instead of just like shooting dudes.
It seems like it would be satisfying. Basically, it gives you like here's how well you shot. If you were aiming for the head, and it shows you exactly where on the head you hit.
Yeah, like straight up, you can like shoot off someone's testicles, and it shows you the X-ray for it.
The difference there is like that's still it's still being animated to like make it look like abstracted. This is no one knows. I guess like someone might, but no one like really knows what like a bullet X-rayed through like a video game man looks like.
Yeah.
Like this weird like crash zoom like MTV style of seeing like a body be destroyed.
It's like
it's very stylized.
where in like Last of Us 2, you just like grab someone and then stab them in the kidney from the back.
You stab them in the neck, you pull the knife out, and a gush of blood just like spits out.
It's not like a gush
of blood.
It's not a gush of blood. It's like you stab someone and the blood comes out and it's just like kind of running out. and their face is like still moving, and then they fall down, and then Ellie calls them stupid.
No, like motherfucker.
Yeah.
Asshole. Asshole. Okay. Spoiler time, please.
Okay. Spoiler time is happening now. If you're dropping out of the podcast now, supposed to avoid spoilers. Thank you for listening this far.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Otherwise, this is your last warning before it gets into the nitty gritty.
Play the game, or no, don't.
Yeah, I'll play the game and then come back and listen to the podcast again.
Yeah,
do it a couple more times. I don't read every story article.
Yeah,
and email me and I'll give you my PayPal, and you can just give me like whatever your check was.
Reimbursed for the game.
It's like, I'm sure you enjoyed your time, so it's like I'd like some, compensation.
I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing it for the passion.
It's artistic integrity for sure. That's why I'm watching all these videos of people dying.
Okay. Spoiler start in 3, 2, 1. Ellie's a piece of shit.
Yeah, Ellie's a piece of shit. Ellie's
evil Ellie.
Yeah. Ellie's a piece of shit, and I like it. I like Ellie being a piece of shit. So the kind of like how the game's structured in a really like interesting way, where it takes place over the course of like 3 days. Someone kills Joel at the start of the game, and this girl named Abby in front of Ellie.
This is bizarre to me from the beginning, because as I understand, the first game had it was like unclear whether or not Joel lived or died.
No,
it was implied that he died, right? Or no?
No, he lived. It's pretty clear that he lives. The first game does have like has like a kind of like ambiguous ending, but it's not like to that degree.
Yeah.
Joel dies at the start of the game, killed by this girl named Abby, and basically the game takes place over 3 days, and it's Ellie and her girlfriend going to Seattle, and they have like a 3-day like revenge plan, adventure. Time.
Well, I would say
it's a adventure.
Yeah.
So you play as both Ellie and Abby over the span of like 3 days. Mm-hmm. Like you play as Ellie in her adventure of like revenge over the course of 3 days in Seattle, which is like kind of a typical revenge story. And after the third day, you switch over to Abby as kind of, I believe it's kind of set around the same time span while Ellie's doing her own thing. Abby's story is more of just like a story about like redemption.
Yeah, because like the first game, the first part of the game, I was actually I was having a good time because I enjoyed the gameplay, but the actual like revenge story, not very compelling, and I think that's intentional, because the game like it's just it like most revenge stories. It's Ellie has a list, and she's crossing people off that list. And the like degree in which like her revenge gets like more violent, it's like escalated like very fast. And like literally everything in the game is saying like, man, why are you still doing this? and it like slowly all the like likable parts of Ellie's like story go away, day 3 in Ellie's story is like miserable because it's everything's like compromised or fucked up, and all you're doing is like on this revenge quest that you like, that at this point is like so clearly like doesn't matter. But Ellie's like, no, I gotta do this for Joel, to the point where Ellie's completely like unrelatable. Not unrelatable, but like unlikable.
Is it you like this about it, or is this a downvote?
I like this about it, but it's definitely like was like I wasn't liking it when I was playing it.
I see.
But after the end of that day, Abby shows up, like at the theater that you and your Scooby gang of murderers were staying at. She kills one of you, has like Ellie at gunpoint, and then the game flashes back, and they just do The Last of Us 2, but if it was fun. And that's why I don't think the game's really judging you for playing it, because Abby's campaign is like clearly designed to be more fun. In Ellie's campaign, you're killing like part of the militia that Abby's with. They're all, given like the bit of characterization, Tommy, but in Abby's campaign, you're dealing with this cult that was also seen in Ellie's campaign.
The Saphrodites?
Yeah, Saphrodites. And they're straight up bad guys. And they don't try and make you really like there are a couple Saphrodites that you're meant to sympathize with. But all the other ones, you are given free clearance to kill them as much as you like and not be judged for it.
They're evil bastards, and when you kill them, the game says good job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I found Abby's story to be quite cliched, actually. Because so you're kind of like, so you're part of this militia who you're told, oh, this cult, the Saphrodites, they're just these horrible people, these horrible cults. And to an extent they are. Then they befriend these two children who are part of the Saphrodites. And then over the course of the story, you kind of find out like, oh, because like Saphrodites are full of just like big religious nut jobs. And then you find out, wait, they're kind of pieces of shit, but I think they're actually just kind of misled. They just need to be pushed in the right direction. And then your own militia finds out that you're protecting the two Saphrodites. And then you find out, wait, maybe my own militia, the wolves, are actually the real pieces of shit. And you kind of turn on each other. And it kind of becomes like kind of a role switch.
Yeah, that does happen. But I wouldn't say, I'm not even like, it's a part of the story, but the story's not really like about it. You like see it coming. I mean, the game's not trying to hide it from
from you.
The game, Abby's story is much more about, well, you killed Joel. Does it make you feel any better? And like her kind of figuring out like what, like it's the ending of True Grit. If you extended that out to like 10 hours of gameplay.
I just felt so much padding in Abby's story. Yara gets injured, so you have to go across the city to this hospital to find like a first aid for her. And then, oh no, Lev ran off to his old camp, and now you have to go follow him. And it's just so much stuff that kind of drags on and on and on.
I guess that's true. The plot mechanics of it are not the most interesting thing in the world, but I thought I found Abby's campaign more entertaining because it was a part that felt more like The Last of Us.
Yeah, I was going to say, because in The Last of Us, the first one, obviously, it's Joel and Ellie. You take care of Ellie. And you kind of have that dynamic returning in Abby's story.
Yeah, with Abby and Lev. And I just found, here's the thing, a lot of people say they manipulate you into liking Abby. I don't think that. I just think Abby's a compelling character.
I found her more likable than Ellie.
Yeah. I've never really understood that I've heard that complaint about numerous characters and numerous things, and I don't fully understand. If someone's likable, they're just likable.
If anything, Ellie's like more like manipulatively likable. Right.
I never to me in the first Last of Us game, I never Ellie is definitely like a video game developer's like ideal child friend. where she's like innocent, but she also is funny and has cool curse words.
She says shit, and you go, "Whoa!"
And sometimes she'll disobey you, but like it's never the point where it actually like matter. It's like Ellie in the first game. It is definitely like it's likable, but it's not like it's doing anything to get like special. I found the like dynamic between Abby and Lev to be like really compelling. I think Lev's a really good character. I think, and I think I liked how the game uses contrasts between Ellie and Abby throughout the whole game. And do we want to go to the second big thing?
I guess just in case, real quickly, something I don't like about Ellie in part 2 is kind of just like her entire character. Like,
one little thing I don't like is everything about her.
Well, from like day one, like from prologue to day one, because so in the first Last of Us, Ellie, there's a point in part 1 where Ellie is in this house reading a girl's diary. And, the diary is from, like, I would assume a girl around her age. And just being like, I don't know if this boy likes me. Oh, where am I going where today? And Ellie is just like, man, this is what they had to worry about back then. All I have to do is survive. And so it was kind of just a point of showing, Ellie's not like other girls her age. She has to think about survival. How much is she going to eat that day? But I feel like everything about her is just kind of gone by the start of Last of Us Part 2, because she had this get shit done attitude, and then it just kind of feels gone in Part 2 when she's like worrying about like someone she kissed a night or whatever. And when they're trying to track Abby in Seattle, they're like, oh, we gotta find and kill Abby. Time is of the essence, but I will have time to play my guitar.
Playing a song, by the way, that I don't know how she knows.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but she listened to music. She had to collect a bunch of vinyls.
I saw that scene and I was like, "This is good," but what?
I think that comes with a sense that Ellie's been living in a town. Ellie didn't have civilization in the first game, like of any kind. So all she really thought about was surviving.
That's fair.
Where, Last of Us, it's like how many years after, where she's just been living in this town. So she's picked up roots.
No, that makes sense.
I guess it's fair to say that the kind of stuff that is described in that diary is sort of what life should be, right? That in theory, the end result of the apocalypse is a return to normalcy.
Right. But I will say, there is a sense of detachment I felt from Ellie right at the start. I think that scene that they showed off at E3 that actually ends up being shown right at the end of the game probably should have just been put at the start. the scene, there was like a scene. The game starts it with Ellie like waking up from like a party, big community party, that she was at the night before, and they don't show you that party until the very end of the game.
That was weird to kind of hold back on,
and I think that scene would be a really good way of showing like how much Ellie's changed in a less jarring way than that game actually starts.
It just like puts you. It's like in media res, right? It just puts you right. Here's a thing that happened to her. Mm-hmm. This is a normal thing that will happen to her in her life. Now it sort of instantly puts you like in the mindset of, okay, this is not the same character from the first game. Like, it's the same person, but people change, over the years. It's not the same person.
Right. Do we want to talk about the end of the game?
Oh yeah, was that your second thing?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
So, okay, once you do Abby's whole 3 days, Ellie fucks over Abby in a big way. Okay, at the end of her day 3, Abby doesn't find out about anything Ellie's doing throughout the entirety of her campaign, which is like hilarious.
Yeah,
it's hilarious, and it makes Ellie's revenge seem even more like pointless.
Hollow.
Yeah. But then once you discover what Ellie does, Abby tracks Ellie down to where she's staying, and you actually get to play through like infiltrating their hideout. And then once that happens, you kind of have like a kind of odd boss fight with Ellie, where her and Abby like engage each other for the first time.
This is what makes this part so interesting. So like, straight up, Abby gives off a big impression when she straight up murders like the protagonist from the first game,
right,
within the first like hour. And then at that same character, you get to like beat the shit out of Ellie,
right? But it's also like you're completely underpowered against Ellie, which is like I think interesting.
Yeah.
But at this point, everyone has killed more people than they would like to. Abby has Ellie like on the floor. Dinah, Ellie's girlfriend, who is also pregnant, not from Ellie,
really,
gets involved, and Abby has a chance to kill not just Ellie but also Dinah. And only it takes like a brief pause when Ellie says she's pregnant. But since Ellie killed one of Abby's pregnant friends, Abby's not too held up about that.
Yeah.
Until Lev does the one thing that no one else in Last of Us does and goes, "We should just stop killing shit." And since Abby's been spending so much time with Lev, as she listens to him, and they decide, we're gonna let this go. Don't follow us. I'll kill you if I ever see you again. Goodbye. And then we cut to like a year or two later, and Ellie and Dinah are living on a farm with their baby. What do you think of this sequence? The whole farm sequence.
It was definitely a nice change of pace after like 7 hours of just like gruesome, gritty murder.
Right. I was really confused because I didn't think the game, like, I didn't think we were seeing anything out of Seattle. Like,
I thought it was over.
Yeah. But then you're just for like, it's not like very long. It's like half an hour. You're just in your house. It's nice. And like, I thought, oh, is this the end?
I was hoping for more of like a lesbian simulator. Or like You do dishes, you do laundry, you take care of the farm. That's going to be just like you know how at the end of Red Dead Redemption, it's kind of just farmer dad simulator for a while. I was kind of expecting that to happen for another 2 hours.
You get like a little. You get a little. You have to herd some sheep.
You get a little taste of it.
And it's like interesting because it's like it's like clear that Ellie is like super poorly equipped to like adjust to like a normal life at this point. She has like a PTSD flashback where she's just deafening this baby who's like strapped to her chest. Until Tommy, Joel's brother who survived and went on his own like revenge quest. A cowboy's up to your house. It's really like you walk to your home and there's a horse in the front lawn. And he's like, I think I have a lead on Abby. We can still find her and kill her. And everyone's like, dude, that was the worst time of our lives.
That was a really great argument between Dina and Tommy, though.
Yes, it was.
That felt so like natural to me.
It felt like real, and Tommy, and like it's like great because like Tommy's like this like super nice guy throughout both games, and at this point it's like clear that he's also like trapped in like the cycle of revenge, where he's just like, this is all I got.
Yeah.
But since he can't get it, he's like guilt tripping Ellie to go do it for him, and Ellie's like already not feeling great. So this is like it's the one little push that she can't like not take, and so she actually she leaves Dinah, who's like obviously like pissed about it, to go and follow this lead. And you just play for the game keeps going for around 3 or 2 more hours where you play as Ellie or Abby and then Ellie, and it does this like
you play Abby. You play as Abby for a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like this little kidnappers plot where Abby and Lev get kidnapped, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
It's just kind of a way to get Ellie and Abby kind of together.
Right. And so it's the most cathartic playing as Ellie ever feels, because again, it's just like the cultists, these guys aren't humanized at all.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. Like you're actually fighting bad dudes this time.
They're just goons.
Yeah, they're just goons. And then, like, ironically enough, like Abby and Lev are like almost dead, and Ellie saves them. She saves them, and then you do the worst part of the game, where you have like this big, stupid Metal Gear Solid 4 fist fight with Abby. I really like everything about the ending besides that.
What's cool about it though is like Ellie was about to like let them go.
Right.
So they got to the beach and they're about to go on their separate boats. But Ellie was like, I can't let this opportunity pass. And so she straight up like forces Abby to fight, or else fight me or I will kill Lev.
Yeah.
Which I think was honestly like it's still shitty, but it's definitely very kind of an interesting direction.
So what's the final conclusion? What's the ultimate outcome?
So you play as Ellie at this point, where you had to fight Abby for a pretty simple so-and-so boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
You beat Abby, and you almost murder her. And while this is all going on, Lev is unconscious, so nothing he can do. So you almost kill Abby, but then Ellie gets flashbacks of Joel, and Ellie lets Abby go.
Well, it happened also. Abby severs 2 fingers from Ellie.
That's true. Yeah, she bites 2 of her fingers off.
Heavy rain, baby.
Yeah, Heavy Rain 2.
Yeah,
that's what Ethan should have done.
Just take 2 fingers and go,
Yeah.
can I have my kid back now? I did extra work.
What if you like chopped off your whole hand? Would that have like been like, okay,
Yeah.
I love
In
my
fact,
son
if you
so
chop
much,
off
I
your
would
whole
cut off
hand-
my own hand.
If you
Just
chop off
chop
your
off the
own
arm.
hand, you should get your son back and another one.
Yeah.
You should get 2 kids.
you get what was the other shitty son? Jason.
You
You get Jason back.
Shitty son.
No, he's shitty. He sucks.
Come on, he just wanted a balloon.
He did want a fucking balloon. Fucking, you can have it, kid. Now you're a balloon. Float up to heaven. But it's like this really great thing where it's like you get the last conversation between Ellie and Joel, and Ellie doesn't. It's not even that Ellie like forgives Abby or lets go. She's just like tired.
Yeah.
And there's this like great shot of her just kind of like sitting on a beach as like there's no like words between Ellie and Abby. She just stops.
Abby just gets on her boat and just like goes away.
And it's like this like foggy beach where Ellie's just like sitting fucking dejected.
Stupid loser alone at beach.
Yeah. 8-fingered idiot. And then you go home to your farm and Dinah's fucking moved.
Yeah, it's like completely empty except for your stuff.
Except for your guitar. And the whole thing, the guitar has been like constantly like a reminder of Joel since Joel taught Ellie to play the guitar, and she lost her fingers, so she can't even play the guitar. And the game just kind of ends with Ellie like leaving her house, and you don't know.
She's the last of them.
Pretty much.
I want to talk about that last conversation with Ellie and Joel, though, because towards kind of early on in the game, Ellie finds out that Joel did save her from the hospital and that she was supposed to be the cure for humanity. And then, but obviously, she was very pissed off about it,
right?
And she was talking to him and said, "I just don't think I can." I don't think I can ever forgive you for that. And then Joel would just like, if I somehow had like a second chance to do it all over again, I would still do the same thing. Yeah. Which I thought was like awesome.
I think that conversation was like great.
That was a really great end to their relationship, because I assumed that was like the very last conversation they've ever had together.
It was like the night.
Like the night before they died, before Joel died.
Yeah. I think what Last of Us 2 does really well is the dynamic between Ellie and Abby, even though they barely have any on-screen time together. I think
could trim down the flashbacks a little bit. But,
probably could have done that, yeah.
What I think is funny though is like there's like a couple of boss fights in the entire game. And one of them is just like actually the most exciting part of the entire game.
This fucking creature destroyed me when I first saw it. It is a amalgamation of like probably like 13 bodies that have just been sewered together, and it's like the most horrifying thing imaginable.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. Thing's called the Rat King.
Rat King is such a good name.
And also Last of Us has a model viewer. So like after I was done,
you the Rat King.
Yeah, it like looked at the Rat King for like 20 minutes. And I was upset the whole time. I think most of the boss fights were a little like silly.
I mean, they're just like 3 in general. Like Rat King is like the most boss out of all of them.
Yeah, there's one, and then there's the one where it's like like a stealth section with Ellie, and then there's Ellie and Abby having the
end,
dumbest punch up ever. It's like it didn't need to go that long. It's ridiculous how much they're beating each other. It's like we were talking about Mortal Kombat, right? It's like that. It's like a Mortal Kombat dust up.
One thing I really want to give compliments for is just the general accessibility of this game.
Yeah, that's
there's so many different like difficulty options for like multiple aspects of the game. On top of that, you can like customize the game to like your choosing, like at all, like subtitle color, different subtitle colors for different characters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like usually AAA games don't care about any of that because whatever. And I really appreciate that Last of Us 2 definitely went out of their way to make it more accessible to people like that.
Really robust, like colorblind options. It's a game that I think if more games should try and have this level of options, especially on console.
Yeah, man. I didn't want to skip over saying that because I think we need to give compliments like that words do to kind of keep those going.
I've seen a lot more games have been having, not a lot more games, but more. I've seen more games have that sort of comprehensive accessibility stuff more, and it's very, very nice to see people actually like caring.
I wish I liked, I wish I could recommend this game wholeheartedly because I would, but there's so much. There's so I think about the dev cycle and I get upset and mad, and I can't let that go. I think Last of Us 2 is like been a super controversial game. And I wish I could just say, fuck the haters, right? But like some of the stuff they hating on is like actually like negative repercussions in like the real world. So I probably wouldn't recommend you buy the game for full price, or if you are, make sure you buy it pre-owned. I don't want to support Naughty Dog right now. If they're going to keep making games like that.
Well, Dre, we paid money for it, so we're the problem, I guess.
We did pay money for it. I am the problem.
That's the message, everybody. If you play video games, you are the problem.
Yeah.
The message of The Last of Us 2, and that is the message of the story arc.
Dre, how much can you give this game like a rating at all?
Well, you'll have to read my review coming out soon to get my rating.
I would give it like 3 dead dogs out of 5, I would say.
What about you, Malcolm? What would you give it?
I would give that game an interesting conversation out of my ears.
Out of your ears?
Yeah, they can talk.
So our conversation just like went out of your ears, not in?
I didn't pick up on any of that. Thanks to everybody for listening, even all the way through to the end of the spoilery bits. Keep your eyes on the TheStoryArc blog, as Dre said, to see his full review of the game and other articles as well. And we will catch you next time. Hope you look forward to it.
Hey. Thank you.